baggage tag is attached. Let's hope this goes through. Finally. Slightly complicated. It worked on the fourth attempt, mainly because you need to put the tag facing the scanner. So the reason I'm in the airport is not because of him, but we are attending an event, and by the thumbnail you would know that it's KTM 390 Adventure launch that's happening in Goa.
Yes.
Why is this guy here? He's a KTM fan.
Yes.
He knows about the 390
Yes.
more than
Anyone here?
Huh? Anyone here?
Yes, at least here.
Chain clean jayo, paint jayo, service jayo.
That's another that's another video.
Okay. We have two more here, two more guests.
Yes.
Guess. Actually.
I heard. Am I a guest?
ఇదేంద్రా ఇట్లా అన్నారు ఇట్లా అదే ఏంది happens కాదు
We are going to Goa, but
Where you do?
you can get this guy to Kondapur. You can't take this guy out of Malkajgiri. The soul is always there.
చాలా legend.
The soul is there. అదే
5 hours later.
Hey guys, we just had the briefing of the KTM 390 Adventure models, the new launches for 2025. This is the 390 Adventure. We also have a 390 Adventure X. The biggest differences are this gets 21-inch rims and tubeless rims, by the way. That has 19-inch rims. Decreased seat height, increased ground clearance are the common things between this variant and that compared to the previous generation. In terms of how it feels to sit, personally, I thought this looks a bit more compact, and just in terms of the cockpit area, this feels very tiny, easy to handle and manage. I don't feel the weight, it's 181 kilos. This is going to be fun, mainly because the power to weight ratio is much higher than the and I'm eager to test it out on the road and see how it feels. So before we head out for the ride, this is the Adventure X variant, guys. The seat height is lower, 825 mm. Ground clearance is also slightly lower. This misses out on few features like riding modes, traction control, cornering ABS, and adjustable suspension. And it also comes in two colors, both the models, orange and white, a combination of orange, white and black. Okay boys, first start of the KTM 390 Adventure. Ready to race. New instrument cluster UI. That's a 5-inch screen but bonded, so the air gap is less than before. I wish the bezels are lower, but then you need to have the telltale signs anyway. No? First ignition. Starting in street mode. Underbelly exhaust. Nice. Typical KTM sound. Okay, I've kept it in street mode. To change modes, new switchgear is pretty easy. Off-road is the most aggressive of all. First we'll ride the street mode. We have some settings to change few things. The windscreen is pretty tall. The scoop is interesting, maybe to generate more air. Range on this so far is at 330 kilometers. Technically maybe around every 275 you need to refuel. Traction control is on, ABS is on. There is a bit of lag in terms of the throttle and the indication here. The entire frontal design has changed a lot. You see this panel, this high tall section. So the instrument cluster visibility is pretty good. Even if you're standing, you don't need to hunch down a bit and see. So this bike has one interesting feature. In low speeds, the behavior of the engine is very tractable in the sense that it doesn't stall, and it comes with a quick shifter. Bit of vibrations on the mirror, but nothing major. At this RPM around 4000 in third gear, I can feel a bit of vibrations in the foot pegs, not much on the handlebar. This is the typical speed we spend in the city. The difference between three riding modes, street, rain and off-road is very linear, whereas street is a bit curved in the sense that the power comes gradually, whereas rain is a bit mellow. When you look at the power and torque figures, this is better than the previous generation, especially the low and the mid-range. So the responsiveness, the low end grunt, the mid-range is supposed to be much better than the previous generation. This is the typical time we go through traffic in the city. No stuttering. Decent quick shifter so far. But one thing I'm immediately noticing is how light, easy and flickable this bike is. I'll just show you why the off-road mode, even in road, is pretty fun. We're having a speed breaker here Normally I can go the rear locks, and it is so much more fun here. So much more fun. Oh, damn. The suspension feels so nice and plush. I think I like the off-road mode out of the lot because it is more fun, more engaging, there is a more connect, whereas the rain mode is a pretty dull, where the traction control is at its highest, ABS is at its highest level. Much more mellow mode if you want that mileage, or if it's raining, obviously, to make sure you have all the safety of the riding assist. One thing I realized is initially in the lower speeds, the vibrations, I feel they are a bit more pronounced, whereas when you go higher revs and higher speeds, they are quite mellowed down. Compared to the previous generation, the wheelbase has gone up, but the turning radius has become shorter apparently, so it's much easier to do those U-turns. I think the only thing I'm not too excited about so far is the low RPM vibrations. In higher speeds and higher gears, pretty comfortable. We have hit 80 now, and in 80 you can cruise quite easily. Let me see how much is the speed that we can go in the short stretch. It has enough grunt. Oh, the downshifts there were good. The wind blast is pretty manageable with this windshield. These are typical highway speeds that one can expect. One thing I missed in my earlier review is the cruise control. It works at a minimum speed of around 40 to 45. Reset button is, or resume button is here, but the set button is in the back. This is a single way resume and set button, so it moves back and forth, and the cruise control on off is here. I've kept it at 20 now, cruise control in the city. Let's say I increase the speed or press the brake. If I reset it, it goes back to 25 again. That is something I don't get it. Why are you letting people have cruise control at 20 and then re-enable at 25? Anyway, cruise control is at least there, better than not having a cruise control. We have traveled roughly around 20-25 kilometers to come to this sunset spot called the Betul sunset spot. Just random Google search got us here. I can't jump on that. My skill level is not that great. Oh, nice. Decent playground, yeah? Let me jump. Oh, nice. This is pretty good off-road. Oh man, this would be fun in Ladakh and Spiti. This can do serious off-roading. I'm just scared. Oh wow, nice. Don't worry, I'm not jumping off the cliff, but just showing you the view. क्या व्यू है यार, क्या व्यू है. Mind the sweat and the look. It's one of the most humid days I had, but what I enjoyed though is this bike mainly because of its weight, the power and the torque. Low and mid-end grunt is pretty good. Tomorrow we are supposed to test this bike off-road, but today we got a chance to test some off-roading skills. Me and Sriman pretty much had a good time here. I don't have much skill to enjoy the full capabilities of this bike, but what I can tell is people who love adventures and off-road are going to have a lot of fun, mainly because the weight, the torque, and just the way how easy it was to handle. In the off-road bit that I had, the suspension felt perfect. It is I'm riding it in the stock condition, and in the stock condition it's made for these adventures. Luckily the suspension is adjustable by 30 clicks on the front and 20 clicks on the back for rebound, compression and preload, so you can tune it to your liking. On the road I felt the rear was a bit squishy. It can be adjusted. We just didn't have enough time to do so. There was a lot of traffic, and talking about traffic and low speed, another big negative with this bike is their vibrations. On the highway the windshield felt good, but I missed the adjustability. When you're touring, that would be something that you would like to have. And also the black bits here are not so much it's just a design element that I was not a fan of. Talking about design, this gap here when you're off-roading A lot of stones can get stuck there. On the other side, it's the exhaust. Talking about build quality, the switchgear and general feel is good, but then these handguards are useless. They feel flimsy compared to the previous generation as per Aditya, who owns the second generation Duke 390 by the way. Seat comfort, too short of a time to understand if it's comfortable or not. On a whole, a lovely motorcycle. I think it is better than the previous generation, but there's still few KTM things that it carries forward, like the vibrations, the sound, but few things it improved. So if you're a KTM fanboy, you're gonna love it. If you're a Himalayan rider, I think the Switch can be interesting, but test ride and take a call. Chalo, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And in case you're watching this night time, have a good night and take care. Bye-bye.